Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third MRH Live. My name's Jules Pittham. I'm the Managing Director of MyRacehorse in the UK and Ireland. It's my great pleasure to welcome George Baker and Nick Luck today, both of whom need no introduction, frankly, and if they do, I'll let them do it themselves. I'm just going to go through what is the agenda for today. We're going to take about 25 to 35 minutes, plenty of opportunity for questions. First up, fireside chat without the fire between Nick and George, talking a little bit about Watch It, Get It, Bahrain and plans going forward. Then Kate and Barney, who some of you may well know, are going to join us. We're going to talk about bloodstock that we have at the moment and plans for those going forward. Then thirdly, plans for 2023. And at the end, a chance for some questions. Thanks everyone who sent in questions beforehand. It's most helpful. Do ask questions as they go, as we go along, because we will get through some of those because they're important, and we'll try to cover as many as possible. Nick, over to you.
Jules, thank you very much. And first of all, what a pleasure it is to be hosting this show today on behalf of you all at MyRacehorse, and to pick George's brains particularly about the two horses that we're excited about for the summer, and to talk about some of the other MyRacehorse projects as well. George, first of all, we ought to start by reflecting on the pretty productive campaigns for both the horses in Bahrain this year, Watch It and Get It. It was a great idea. It's been a profitable one. How do you think they got on and progressed during their time in the Middle East?
Nick, we were delighted with both of them. Obviously, I mean, before you take horses over there, you can't tell whether they're going to cope or not. But both horses, they thrived over there. A bit of sun on their back. Get It in particular, when trained here in the UK, he had a reputation for being a little bit buzzy, a little bit hot, and that could have manifested itself over there, but it just didn't. He chilled into the environment in Bahrain, and both horses just jumped off the aeroplane and just went up from there. And Get It, he ran really well first time out for us. This is a race, we're just seeing it on screen. He was drawn on the stand side rail. He missed the break. The race evolved down the far side, Nick, and our horse made up an awful lot of ground under Pat Cosgrave up against the rails. Unlucky. I don't know, if we'd been drawn on the far side, obviously we would have been involved, but that gave us much hope going forward. And Pat Cosgrave got off the horse on this occasion and just was blown away by the toe he showed, and blown away by the fact that he came off the bridle here. As you can see, it's the horse in the white, obviously in your colors, guys, hard up against the rail. And he came off the bridle a long way out, but he just kept finding and finding and finding. And Patsy was adamant that if he'd been over the far side, we would have gone very close. And I don't think that's unfair at all. But this obviously gave us a lot of hope going forward, Nick. We knew we had a horse who would go on the predominantly fast ground over there. And from there, we moved on to the Al Wasmaya Cup, where he ran an excellent second, and as you all know, been promoted recently to actually the winner of the Al Wasmaya Cup. So fantastic for him to have come away from the kingdom with two really encouraging runs, and his final run where Andrea understandably went from the stand side to the far side. This is the Al Wasmaya Cup. You can see him again. We're drawn on the right side, the far side this time, and Mobadel comes bursting up the middle and goes and wins the race nicely. But when we looked like we might have got swamped 2 furlongs out, our horses really battled on, stuck his neck out. Andrea Axini on board this time. He was mighty impressed with the horse's attitude, and that was the race we actually ended up winning on the disqualification of Mobadel, which is obviously great news. Not the way that you want to win a horse race, but fantastic to have a one next to his name in the famous MyRacehorse colours. And then his final run over there was, we were drawn stand side. Andrea made a call. I'm never going to condemn a jockey for making a call on the spur of the moment in the middle of a race, because we never tie jockeys down. It's a real real thing for me. I just let them get on and ride the race. And Andrea made the call to go from the stand side to the far side after about half a furlong. It was the wrong call, as it transpired. The winner came up the stand side. If we'd stayed the stand side, obviously we'd been a lot closer, but we did an awful lot of running to get over to the far side, and then we were on the wing of that group and in daylight. And it's easy. It's an easy thing to say, but genuinely that is a run we can put a line through. And look, he's had a break for the last month, and back being ridden this week, and really excited about plans for him for the summer ahead.
Now, I've already made the plan for this horse, George. He's going to win the Epsom Dash, isn't he, on Derby Day?
Well, funny enough, Nick, that was when Pat Cosgrave got off in that day when he was fifth. The first thing he said this will be a right horse for the dash. Sometimes Pat's quite broad Irish brogue. Sometimes you need subtitles when you're talking to him, but it was pretty clear that he feels this horse would be, drawn against the rail in the dash, getting a nice break. What fun! He is all toe. He's a 5 furlong horse, I think, but those who ride him do think that he will get 6. And Andrea Azzini and Frankie, who rode him a lot in Bahrain, is adamant that this horse, once he comes off the bridle, he just keeps on trying and trying, and we've seen that in those 2 very good runs. So whilst the dash is an obvious race for him over 5 furlongs, I certainly wouldn't discount races like the Wokingham over 6, and the Stewards Cup at Glorious Goodwood, and then I think the perfect race, actually, Nick, and the dash is a very, very good starting point. But I think the Portland over 5.5 at Doncaster on St. Leger Day. So look, he's a horse who's going to take us with a little bit of luck off his present mark of 96. The dash last year was won by a horse rated 83, who then actually ended up running in the Prix de l'Abbé. So pipe dreaming is what this game is all about. But if we could go and play on those 4 big stages, and then even end up in Longchamp in October, who knows? But look, a really exciting horse, and off this mark, he would have got in. The Wokingham last year was the lowest rated was 95. The Stewards Cup, the lowest rated was 92, and the Portland, the lowest rated was 88. So we've got a proven performer who can take the guys and girls to all the big festivals, which is fantastic.
But George, haven't we already got a Wokingham horse?
Watcher.
Yeah,
we have Watcher. Again, his pedigree is all speed, Nick. Again, the dam Baroche was all 5 furlongs. But yeah, when he ran, he was second in the Al Rifa Cup in Bahrain, a fantastic run for us. But I think we might have not got lucky, but it rained just before this. You can see him running. I'm coming up besides the grey horse there, and we were probably just a little bit ring rusty. The grey horse won well, but we ran a hell of a race to be a very good second, clear of the rest. But it had rained 4 or 5 days before, and the ground was riding probably a little bit easier than it normally does in Bahrain, Nick. And I think next time out, when he was disappointing, he showed that he's a dark angel, and dark angels they go on good ground, but they probably don't thrive on proper rattling fast ground. So he's unlikely realistically to go back to Bahrain next winter. But then again, races like the Wokingham and all the ones I've mentioned for him are absolutely on the radar, and we won't mind if we have 2 in all of them, and they're drawn on different sides, and we can play with whichever draw bias we want.
But what I love, George, is you've obviously got 2 hardy horses here, horses that with a fair wind, we can all enjoy quite a few times, and we can go to Derby Day, we can go to Royal Ascot, we can go to Newmarket July, we can go to Glorious Goodwood, we can go to York Ebor, we can go to Doncaster. I mean, if you make all of those, then you're the next best thing. But even most of those, and it'll be we'll have a really fun season with these horses.
Well, you're quite right, Nick. And here we are. We're at the beginning of April, and everything about this time of year is looking forward to the fantastic dynamic of the flat season that lies ahead of us. And we have got horses here, 2 horses. And Watchers rated 95, Get It rated 96. I mean, they are genuinely horses that can we can map our way through the dynamic of the big festival meetings, as we've discussed. And both, I do think, dangerous thing to say, but Watcher came to us off a mark of 87. He's now rated 95, primarily on the back of going up 4 pounds. Well, obviously going up 4 pounds for that excellent run in the Hever Sprint, which that was a classy run straight off the aeroplane. You wouldn't normally have a horse in Bahrain on a Tuesday morning and have him running in a listed race at Lingfield on the Saturday afternoon straight afterwards, having flown halfway around the world. So I really, of the two, I think he's the most exciting of the two, just because I think he can progress from this mark, and I think he could be a horse who, he could maybe nibble up into the hundreds, and then he could really be a viable contender for getting ahead of myself again, but something like the Prix de l'Abbé at the end of the season on soft ground, being a Dark Angel, and what fun that would be. But yes, I mean, of course, what we're really doing here, Nick, is talking about two horses that a lot of syndicates out there would absolutely dream of having. People dream of having good horses, and these are two very good horses. Once you've got horses above 90, you can pick and choose your way through the program book. If you're nibbling around in the high 70s and into the 80s, you're in that twilight zone when it's very hard to place your horses. These horses, well, as you've already told me, where they're going, because not because they're easy to place, but because you're an expert on the program book. But that is the truth a bit, where they place themselves.
I don't think this one took much expertise, in fairness. What about the owner's experience in Bahrain, George? Because clearly we couldn't all come out every week, but everybody saw some benefit from this, particularly in the prize money the horses earned.
Well, the prize money is obviously magnificent, and Get It being promoted, that added another £24,000 into the kitty. But the MyRacehorse owners who came over with us, we had two groups who traveled over for two of the race meetings, and fantastic people who really sort of just they, like all these things, people get out of it what they put into it, and they completely threw themselves into the whole experience. We had great fun with them. We had a couple of really great fun dinners, a couple of concerts, breakfast at the race course, having watched the horses work on the day before racing. And then we're quite well known for our car park picnics in this country, Nick, and we have one that starts for Glorious Goodwood, that starts at 10 o'clock on the Tuesday of Glorious Goodwood and ends when my children turn the music off on the Saturday evening. But we have now a similar event in the car park in Bahrain behind the grandstand, which is great. So from the Sussex Downs to the deserts of Bahrain, we can have a picnic wherever we want, and that just adds something. It makes it a very personal experience. The owners who are with us, they get to meet the other trainers out there. Ross Sullivan and Katie Walsh were with us at both times, and Alice Haynes, and some lovely. Great for the guys to meet these people and to get involved and really up close and personal, and then to go back into the desert for a debrief glass when it's all done. So no, the guys and girls who came out, I really hope they had a lovely experience. We had great fun with them, and recommend it to all your owners to get racing as much as you possibly can. And I promise you one thing we will do is look after you.
And we're looking forward to coming down to your stables as well, your beautiful stables, to visit the two horses. Tell me a bit more about that.
That's great. I think we got it, the date in the diary. It's the 21st of April, isn't it? Well, really looking forward to getting the guys and girls down here. We'll get the horses on the gallops, go and stand on top of the hill. I'll talk a lot of rubbish about how brilliantly they're moving and everything, and then they can go around the stables and actually talk to the people who know about the horses, the stable staff, and my wonderful team here. And we'll have a lovely morning. We'll as I said, we'll watch the horses on the gallops, and then we'll do a tour of the yard and show everybody our amazing facilities here, and chat about a few of the other horses on the place and other exciting plans we've got. So really looking forward to that. And but we genuinely operate an open house policy here, Candida and myself and the team. And listen, if anyone's driving past the front door, don't feel scared to bang on it, because we'd love to see you.
Be careful what you wish for. You could get me every day.
Well, we have a very good breakfast most mornings, Nick.
Well, even more so. A couple of questions for you, George. Got one here saying March has been a very wet month. I think there were 93 millimeters. in one part of the country. Does this affect your training schedule? And if so, what do you change to accommodate it? Gary Clark.
Gary, that's a really excellent question, because yes, we've that weather was unbelievable, and we have all weather gallops, and they are very, very good. But every gallop is susceptible to extremes of weather like that, as evidenced by the fact, Nick, this morning we went to Kempton Park, which is only 45 minutes, an hour down the road from here. We take horses through the early part of the year for racecourse gallops at least once a week at Kempton. It's a great facility, and because of the weather, we've been going there an awful lot. And this morning, Ed Walker had a gang there, Eve Johnson Horton had a gang there. Who else was there? David Manoussier, obviously the Lincoln winning trainee. David was there with a broad grin on his face, and he was very happy with life, as he should be. But yes, I think we're all having to react and adapt. And the fact that there were, I would say, 50, 60 horses working there this morning, we took 8 or 10, and the other guys had about the same number. And a lot of jockeys there. We had Pat Cosgrave there, Safi Osborne was there, George Downing, I saw, Jamie Spencer turned up to ride for David. So, we all have to adapt when the weather is playing against us, and we're very lucky that Kempton is down the road and accommodates us. So at this time of year, we go there anyway, but yes, we've been going there a bit more because of the weather.
Got another question for us here, I think, about the Grand National. Of course, the Randox Grand National takes place next Saturday. Oh, this is to me from Michael William Vaughan. Michael, hello. Great that you're with us. What's your pick for the Grand National? Well, there's no confidence behind this horse, it seems, on the exchanges or in the markets. But I quite like Capodanno. I think he's a class act, and he might not be badly handicapped. Longhouse Poet's the one that's perhaps a bit more obvious, that I think is bound to run really well last year. I was actually up at Aintree the day before yesterday, and the track is not nearly as soft as you might imagine, having had all that rain. It's dried out incredibly well. They're going to have to start watering soon, I think. So I wouldn't go overboard unless there's loads and loads of rain next week. I wouldn't go overboard trying to find a mudlark. What do you like, George? Because your tipping is often far better than mine, and of course you have jumping routes as well.
Well, we love having a few jumpers on the place, Nick. Always have done. I'm going. I know this is. He's got a lump around a lot of weight, much more than last year. But I've been very taken with Noble Yates since the Grand National last year. Sean Bowen takes over from Sam Whaley-Cohen, and I can see this horse if he's there at Valentine's second time round. We know he's got that very potent turn of foot that he showed at Aintree and at Cheltenham earlier in the year. This is a proper horse, and I think this race, to my mind, is becoming classier and classier year on year. It used to be the lottery in inverted commas, and it was the race that actually got me involved in this ridiculous sport. I'm very ancient, so it was literally sitting on the edge of my sofa watching a mighty Australian horse called Crisp lead them a merry dance when I was an 8-year-old, and collared by Red Rum. And it's embarrassed to say at age 8, I broke down in floods of tears and at what I'd witnessed. But that was the catalyst to my love of this great sport. And yeah, I love the Grand National, and Noble Yates, I think he was a very good winner last year, an unexpected winner. He obviously won't be a similar price this year, but I love the horse, and I think he could be one to go and do it again.
And George, you're somebody, just to as we wrap up here, and I know that Bunny and Kate are going to come on in a minute, but as we wrap up, just you're someone who's been really embracing shared ownership, fractional ownership, syndicate ownership for a long time now, and you seem to get a massive kick out of the entertainment side of this sport.
Well, Nick, I mean, it's got to be fun. It really has. People are not coming into this to make fabulous fortunes. Obviously, the bigger battalions and the big breeding organizations, they have to look at it with their financial hat on. We obviously try and run a business here and have to run a business. But the bottom line is, the people who are kind enough to support us and to have horses here, it's a leisure choice. And when people are making a leisure choice, and it's humbling that they decide that we are the people to provide that to them, we have to make it a lot of fun. And Kander and I have lived by that mantra from the moment we've been training now for 15 years. It feels like a lot longer, but it's been a wonderful journey, and we've met some amazing people along the way. And micro shares and the syndicates are definitely the way forward. And we love being involved with groups like this, and we love throwing our doors open and showing that how amazing this great sport is. And yeah, it's got to be fun, Nick, and Candida and I and our team here. That really is what it's all about. Whether it's here or abroad, we love taking horses abroad. We love taking our owners abroad. But having a winner down the road at Lingfield is as exciting as having a winner in Bahrain. And if we can have a lot of fun and make it fun for our owners, then we've done our job.
No, honestly, I'm quite excited about monitoring these two horses through the season, because I feel we've got a plan, and that training racehorses is much easier when you've got targets to aim at. You're not just kind of aimlessly wafting through the season. You've got clear points, and you're going to hit those marks. And provided we know that horses can make fools of you all the time, but provided they stay in one piece, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with these two horses. George, we're certainly going to have a lot of fun with you. We're going to have way more fun with Candida. We know that.
Yeah.
And everyone, all of us need to make dates in the car parks at Ascot, Goodwood, Epsom, Doncaster, York, probably at Newmarket, July. And then we'll have been properly immersed in the racehorse ownership experience. George, thanks so much. Can't wait.
Great fun, Nick. Look forward to it very much.
Thank you very much, George and Nick. Look, on behalf of MyRacehorse and all our owners, particularly, George, you've made an absolute flying start in Bahrain. And whether we go there again next year or not, we'll leave you to lead us, to guide us on that one. But congratulations on a fantastic start, some great prize money. It was a great campaign, and we really look forward to the 2023 flat season with you. And Nick, for me, you're one of the most informative men in, or people rather, in British racing, and I always value your opinion. Thank you so much on behalf of our owners. I know we'll be hearing a lot more from you this year, and I can assure you that'll be incredibly well listened to as we hear from you. So thank you again.
Not at all. Can't wait. I'm just really excited about the year. We're ramping it up. We've got more action, more horses. We're covering lots more bases. We've got young horses, older ones, more experienced ones, works in progress. I think it'll be from a quiet Monday to a busy Saturday. We're going to get a lot of fun out of 2023.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, George.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Barney, Baker, and Kate are going to join. Well, they've joined us. Thank you very much. I'll get them to introduce themselves. But we're going to go straight into the bloodstock updates. I think you're going to make a start. Am I right there, Barney?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you all right.
You can hear me. Perfect. So I'm Barney, and I'm the racing and owner experience manager for MyRacehorse in the UK. And I think we're going to make a start with Midsummer Dance, who we've got some very exciting news to tell you about. So we are delighted to say that she has now been moved to Harry Eustace's Park Road stables in Newmarket. Harry has made a fantastic start to his racing career, and he's been rewarded with top bloodstock from the likes of Stadwell. He's a 21% win rate at the moment, and he's already had a Royal Ascot winner, so we're in fantastic hands there. A bit on his move, it was a mutual agreement between here she is at Park Road stables. Mutual agreement between us and John and Thady Gosden that now that she's got a handicap mark, we think that Harry's extremely good at finding the right races for these type of horses, and in a smaller yard she should be she should have a lot more individual focus on her, frequent content, and hopefully a lot more stable visits, so you can get down there. But it's a beautiful place just next to the Jockey Club Jockey Club rooms, and it's a great part of town, really. Speaking to Harry when I went down there a couple of days ago, she's going to have a bit of time off because she's had a very busy winter, so that'll be 2 weeks in the field. Not in the field, doing light walking, and then Harry's going to build her up back to full training. Hopefully with a plan to find a race towards the end of May. It'll likely be a 3-year-old filly's handicap starting over 1.25 miles, but Harry seems to think that 1.5 miles is definitely within her reach, which is exciting, and it gives us plenty of options going into the year. A bit of stuff on her share price, just quickly. We are aware that she was quite an expensive purchase at Keeneland in 2021, and although she's been a hardy, consistent type, she has not reached that level that we kind of initially hoped that she would be. So we are getting an independent valuation on her, and once we have this, she will be back on the website next week with a new share price. But whatever happens, she's a hardy type who is going to give owners a lot of good fun experiences throughout the year. But that's Midsummer Dance. And then moving on to Ma Belle Artiste.
Mm-hmm.
She everything that she did last year was a massive bonus for us. She as a physical, she's always looked like she was going to be a 3-year-old. She was a big leggy filly at 2. She won so well on her debut, and we're excited to see where she ends up. Her last piece of work was at Nice this weekend. Here she is, and
Good morning in the rain, I assure you.
Apprentice Hugh Horgan rode her this day over 6 furlongs. She got a bit stuck in the mud, so it wasn't a great day at Nice. Got a bit kind of unbalanced going around the bend. Here she is in the green cap, but she finished her work off well on the bridle, and we're excited to say that Joseph has got some plans for her at the end of this month. So really, yeah, she was a flag bearer for us last year. She gave us our first victory over in the UK, and we're excited to see where she goes this year. She was speaking about her being very, very complimentary. And then the Invincible Spirit Colt. Now, he sadly got a bit of a knock before his training was really being ramped up. He's had a 2-week rest, and it was a very minor setback, very usual in the racing world. But we look forward to bringing him back in the summertime, and Joseph and his team have been very complimentary about him. We've had a lot of good things, so we look forward to bringing him back to training, and here he is in the early starts of his training, doing the stalls. But he's a very exciting horse for the future, and we can't wait to have him back.
And don't forget, Barney, we'll have a great opportunity next week. We'll have a visit with Joseph O'Brien. So a lot of those Ma Belle Artiste owners will be down there, and we're excited to show her off. And then we'll hopefully get all of the Invincible Spirit owners, get a lottery out for that visit. Once he's back in full training, right about in May would be a good time, don't you think?
Exactly. I'm very jealous that you're getting to see her. I'd love
Well, you wouldn't have been jealous if you'd been out there on Nace on Friday. I have to tell you, that poor filly, she didn't like the rain any more than I did that morning.
And then next on the bloodstock list is Syndicated. Now, he left us all a little bit confused and scratching our heads last time out. He works very well, as you can see from some of the workout times out in the States. But he's not very good at transferring this to the racecourse, and we've given him the best chance. He's been in the hands of Andrew Balding, who is a fantastic trainer over here, and Shug McGahey over in the US. We tried him over different trips. We tried him over different surfaces, and hasn't really hasn't clicked for him just yet. So we're now going to geld him and see how he takes to that. That's happening in Lexington, Kentucky, and we will keep you all updated on how the operation goes. But there's definitely more to Syndicated than what we have seen. And then last but not least, we have Maymar. So Maymar's still having his planned rest following his gelding and a slight tendon issue. But we really hope that we can get him back reasonably soon and to a similar level to what he showed last year. Because on his first start, he was only beaten, I believe it was 3/4 of a length by a horse called the Antarctic of Aidan O'Brien's, and that horse went on to win a Group 3 and be Group 1 place last year, and is currently rated 113. And then on his second start, he was third to a horse called Blackbeard, and Blackbeard went on to win the Prix Morny and the Middle Park, both Group 1s, and is already a stallion. So the form in the book is fantastic. So hopefully Michael and his team can get him back right and up and ready to go, because there's clearly a lot of ability there. So yeah, fingers crossed, and thank you for listening and tuning in.
And the good thing about Michael O'Callahan's place is he's got a lot of space to turn this horse out. So like Barney was talking about, with the form holding up the way that it has, and in the right hands and the very capable hands of Michael, we hope to see this horse back at the end of the summer. Would be great for a late summer fall campaign. Let's hope he gets there. The last horse on our list is Stradivarius, and Ben Blackbird Power. That's been a really fun syndicate to get people involved with. We've had some really fun updates from the National Stud. Stradivarius has had a great start to his stud season, his very first year at stud here, and it's been really exciting to tell all the owners of Blackbird Power that she is in full. And hot off the press, literally received this just before this show started, is today was Blackbird Power's 28-day scan. So for those of you who don't know, the 28-day scan is when they scan for a heartbeat in a foal. And luckily, heartbeat was there, which is great news. It means the pregnancy is progressing nicely. And so the next step and the next scan will be for her on 42 days, which is a really big one. After that 42-day scan, the chances of her miscarrying or anything going wrong with the pregnancy dramatically decrease. So that's a big one. But we'll update all the owners with an owner update right after this show. But like I said, hot off the press. And then we did have a question from an owner here about what is the expected foaling date for the Stradivarius foal. So the gestation for a mare, for a thoroughbred mare, is about 11 months. So she was bred then in March, and you take off a few days. Usually it's about 10 days. Her expected foaling date right now is February 9th. So that's the date in your calendar to circle for early next year, and we'll hopefully, hopefully that'll be right around the right time. So that is everything for Bloodstock. As far as the updates, we've got quite a few questions that we'd like to answer for people as well. Hold on just a second. I'm so sorry. There we go.
Do you want to go through those now, Kate, right?
Yeah, let's go through some of the questions, Mackenzie. All right.
Let me take that one. So will MRH be sending any new horses for the Bahrain Turf Series next year? That's from Rebecca Steele. Thanks for your question, Rebecca. It's early stages, but given how successful the campaign was this year and how good the ownership experience was, we would like to think we'll be going there again. Will it be Watch Her and Get It going there again? Possibly. But we might even do the same kind of thing and look for some horses that we can campaign out there, bring back some prize money, have some fun over there. And remembering that, these are British horses going to Bahrain. These are not Bahraini horses that we're campaigning in Bahrain. It's just to go out there, have some fun, prove them, get some prize money, and bring them back, hopefully, with those big races. Let's see how 2023 goes for Watcher and Get It. We're very hopeful, but who knows what happens in racing. But our owners liked it, and we'd like to think you liked it. And any feedback you want to give us on that, we'll take your lead. So do let us know if you want us to do more of it.
Perfect. So Mackenzie, sorry, before we go into the rest of these questions, I wanted to also take a chance. I'm sorry, I've lost my sheet here, but wanted to talk about one thing that we promised owners that we would talk about here is the naming contest and letting everybody know what the name of this Invincible Spirit colt is. So we had tremendous output from this. You guys really got into the names. We had over 600 names submitted that Barney and I had sorted through. There were some funny ones, some interesting ones. There were all sorts. It was great to see the engagement and the creativity that our owners have. One name in particular stood out to a great number of you. Over 87 people, or exactly 87 people, submitted the name Breathless Spirit. And no surprise there. That name is our winner. So our Invincible Spirit colt is going to officially be named Breathless Spirit. And so what we did, since so many people had actually submitted the name, we did a random drawing to see who would be the winner of this contest and who would get, the MyRacehorse hat. And that is going to be Martin Duffy. And he was thrilled, spoke to him earlier today. He said he's absolutely buzzing from naming this colt. So it's great to see, and hopefully he'll be able to get down there to Joseph's yard and meet this colt that you guys helped name. So we appreciate all of your votes. We appreciate all of your name suggestions, and it's great to see this colt get named before he makes his 2-year-old debut. So over, talking about 2-year-olds and, the fresh excitement that brings as we start this flat racing season, I wanted to take a chance and turn it over to Jules to kind of start the conversation about what we're going to be doing in 2023, what owners can expect for 2023 moving forward, what plans we have in place. Jules? Yeah,
thanks, Kate. I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to just whip through the two most important things coming up for this season.
Okay.
And they're both related to bloodstock, because really that's the most exciting thing for our owners. And I know we want to leave plenty of time for questions as well. So if you hadn't heard already, Ted Durkin has been taken on by us as our bloodstock agent. He's on a sort of permanent retainer, which allows us to sort of get more opinion than you typically get from a bloodstock agent who's earning commission only. Look, he's an incredibly respected figure in racing. If you don't know, he won the Ledger, he won the Oaks. I think he placed in the Derby as well. Not I think he did. I know he placed in the Derby, and he rode over 1,000 winners in Great Britain. He's a fantastic guy. He will be coming along to some of the yard visits, and you get a chance to talk to him. He is the nicest guy. He's so approachable, loves meeting new owners. So don't be, if you see him wandering around, go and say hello. He's really charming. And he's going to be absolutely key in selecting bloodstock. That's one of the most important things that we do. It's really difficult. It's not easy. It's an art, it's a science as well. But having Ted on board hopefully will increase our chances to select the right bloodstock for you. As it plans for bloodstock specifically, thanks to everyone who sent feedback on the survey. We had well over 600 responses. So thanks everyone for sending those in. And we did that so we can guide how we behave and what we do throughout the season to suit what you want us to do. It's clear that horses in training is where we're at. Yearlings are exciting, they're risky, but what we do know from the surveys, you guys want to go racing, you want activity, you want all that content and information, etc. you get from having horses in training. So we'll be focused on that. We'll be going to the horses in training sale, or some of them, depending, not sure which ones yet, but we'll also, the benefit of having Ted on board is that we can do private transactions as well. We'll be keeping a close eye on, these early 2-year-olds who come up with a maiden win, and see if we can pick up with partnership some horses that we know are sound by having seen their first run. We know they're the right price. We can hopefully find some decent partners to work with, as we have done before, and we'll be doing more of that. So we'll of course be keeping you informed as we get into some new bloodstock, but that's how we plan to buy this year with the aid of Ted, horse in training, and that's clear from your feedback. That's what you guys want.
Not only that, we got some clear feedback that we have MyRacehorse owners all over the UK and Ireland, and so we hear you, and we've really made links. We'll expand our stable this year and really diversify the trainer ranks that we have, and we want to make sure that wherever you are, we can, you'll be somewhere close by to a MyRacehorse runner, so we can get more of you to the race courses, interacting with other owners, meeting other owners, and enjoying racing and what it's all about to be a MyRacehorse owner. So we will look out for some new trainers, and we'll hopefully bring that to you soon as well.
Yeah, good point, Kate. And we went up to see some of the big trainers up north, talked about working with us. They're all delighted to potentially be working with us. So hopefully we'll be making some purchases and those spreading their bloodstock around the country for those people who are further north in the new markets of this world.
Absolutely. And talking about events, there is one thing that we would love to talk about, is Royal Ascot, the premier racing event on the UK calendar. We've got some exciting developments in that area, and I'll be sending out, a kind of a survey, an almost indicate interest survey, to kind of get your feedback on what you might like. But to give you just a really quick layout, I'm really aware of time, and I want to get to some more questions. We are going to partner with MyRacehorse US, and they are going to bring over about 20 to 25 owners, and we've got a full 3-day calendar planned. So that'll start in Newmarket with the National Stud Tour, which some of you might have been on with Stradivarius, but others probably have not. And lunch in the Jockey Club rooms. There's some London excursions planned, and then the most important, of course, is racing at Royal Ascot on the Saturday. So to that end, we've secured a number of tickets in one of the areas of Royal Ascot, and would like to throw a big car park picnic and enjoy racing all together as a MyRacehorse community with US owners and UK owners. So I'll be sending out a lot more information and some questions for you guys about that, and would really appreciate your feedback if it's of interest to you. So I think that's pretty much what we wanted to cover as far as bloodstock. And Mackenzie, I know we're on time here, but I'd love to get some more questions answered for you. And we've got quite a few from our owners here. Thank you. Okay, so yeah.
I'll take that one, Kate?
Yeah, so does MRH have any future plans to purchase national hunt horses? I know there's a few of you that asked this question, and in the short term, the answer is really no. It's not. It doesn't quite make sense from a way of just the way that we have our model. Our model, we are real ownership, and we're one-time payment. And when you talk about a career of a national hunt horse versus a flat horse, it's a lot longer of a career. You are adding in, at least 4 years of training probably to that share price, which makes it look really expensive on the front end. And it's difficult within our model to make the national hunt make sense at this time. Not saying that'll be forever, but we're still trying to really nail down and perfect what we are doing for all the flat horses right now. So at this time, we won't be adding national hunt.
But listen, if you guys want us to do more national hunt, tell us about it. And, if you're not scared of adding in 4 years worth of training fees into your one-off price, or just call us, tell us about it. We'd love to hear your feedback. Okay, can you take this one?
Sure. So this is talking about additional payments. So if your horse gets injured, are there any additional out-of-pocket cost? Or does my share payment cover it? And I'm really happy to tell you that your share payment covers this. When we say one-time costs, we mean it. If the horse gets injured, if there isn't a portion of the reserve that covers that, MyRacehorse will take on the cost of those veterinary bills. We will not be asking for additional payments in case of an injury. Jules, you got this one.
Okay. Yeah, the prize money is attractive in France. You're absolutely right, Roger. And, we've thought about that. Actually, training in France with French trainers is challenging right now because of, the regulatory environment. You have to set up a whole new system, and that would be a lot of effort. And frankly, we've got ourselves focused on UK and Ireland right now. That said, we are not against traveling to France and going after French prize money, raiding the northern shores of France. George Baker's well known for that. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And especially with the French premium, i.e. buying French bred horses that can pick up, I think it's a 40% premium. We've got our eye on that one, and we'll be opportunistic about that one. If something comes up, we'll be thinking about it and letting you know, of course.
Okay, will my racehorse be offering a super stable? So super stable, it's a great idea. We are still in our first year of operations. We actually haven't even had our first anniversary yet. So we are not quite at the point in our story where we can take on something that's as big as a super stable. In the future, absolutely, I think there's potential for it, but probably not in our plans for 2023.
So the minimum and maximum shareholding, you could, I think the question here is from Marcia Murphy, is how many shares can you buy? So currently you can buy as little as one, or in our system has a restriction of 149. If you want to buy more than 149 shares, we'd be delighted. And you can call us and we'll make that happen. But there's no restriction. But just remember that the more shares you buy, the greater chance you've got in the lottery of attending the yard visits and even going racing. So there's a benefit to be had from owning more shares, notwithstanding there's an upside if your horse does well, and the future value of the share as well.
Oh, a live question here.
Okay,
will my racehorse be ever selling merchandise in the UK? So you guys, great question. You might have noticed yesterday we kind of went through a little bit of a system upgrade, and the website was down for about 10 hours. So a lot of the functionality there was, behind the scenes. But one of the things for the UK market that is going to be pretty significant is the addition of a shop. So we will be working towards that. We definitely have some fun ideas as far as merchandise goes, and we want to be able to offer it to all of our owners. It will happen this year. We'll get it started, and we'll keep you posted as it progresses.
Yeah, just to be clear, there'll be no American-style baseball caps. It'll be all normal-style baseball caps.
We'll have one American-style baseball cap.
Okay, all right, we'll let one in. Yeah. Okay, great. Kate, can you take this one?
Sure. Okay, can you explain how the shares work and how the winnings, if any, are shared to the shareholders? So thank you, Carl. Welcome to My Racehorse. We're happy to answer that for you. So the shares work, you buy your share and you actually own that horse. So that means, that portion of the horse is really yours. So yes, the prize money is paid out to you. Actually, we are just so close to getting everybody who owned horses last year with us their financial reports for 2022, which kind of breaks down exactly, your asset, your share, and it breaks down the reserve account that was there and where the reserve account is currently. And if there were any prize money earnings, then it breaks that down per share for you. So you will actually receive that into your My Racehorse wallet, which you can see if you go to your account and just click on account on the top right-hand corner on the webpage. So prize money is paid out as our sales proceeds. If the horse gets sold, those proceeds from sale, minus any costs associated with the sale, will also be directly deposited into your My Racehorse account. So yes, that is a real share, and that prize money and those sales proceeds are yours.
Yeah, I just want to be really clear about that. I mean, when you own that share, it's like buying a share in Marks and Spencer's. We don't ask you to buy that share again. It's yours. And there is some products are perhaps a little bit confusing about that, and some are clubs, etc. But as far as when it comes to My Racehorse, when you own that share, it's yours. We don't ask you to buy it again ever, and we never will. So I hope that answers the question, Carl. Thanks for that good question.
Jules, you want to take this one?
Yeah, as a member, will you get the inside info on the horse chances from a punting angle, Paul? It's another good question. So, in so much as you'll receive information from the trainer much earlier, and you'll receive information that no one else will from the horse. You can interpret that as you see fit, whether that's 2 months in advance as the horse is coming into getting ready for a race, or even the day before or the morning of. You're going to get that information, and we know that our owners like to receive that kind of information. Is the horse fit? Do they like the ground? And whilst we're not telling you what to do with your money and whether to bet on it, we'll leave you to interpret that. But we know that our owners do like to receive that information, just to try and get a little bit of edge in the betting markets. And we'll do our best to make sure you get that information. And notwithstanding, we'll be asking Nick to tell us his favourites as we get throughout the season. He's already done it for Ascot. I noticed he did. Did he have any success? I think he had one, didn't he? Yeah. So we're aware that people like to receive that kind of information, and we'll be doing our best to get you more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Any more?
I think that might be it, guys. There's a few more. I've got a question here that I can see here. I'll put this. Oh no. I've got one question here. I'll just put it up, Mackenzie. So there's a couple people asking about they missed the part about Mabel Artiste and when she might have a start. So I wanted to address that. She will probably start Mabel Artiste at the end of April. They missed that part of the show. But that's about it, guys. Thank you for all of your excellent questions today, owners.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Obviously, Nick and George have disappeared. We'll be having other guests on as we get through. We've had Joseph on, George and Nick this time, and we'll be adding to that. So you can hear not just from us, but from real industry experts. Absolutely. And we look forward to letting you know when the next one comes. Thank you ever so much for attending. I wish you a happy Easter. Enjoy the break, and we'll see you before long.
Thanks, owners.